Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Hope you're doing well. Very glad you're here. Today's video is another Lightroom quick tip video. This one's going to be about white balance. And white balance is something that's really important. And it's sometimes misunderstood, I think, and often overlooked. So I want to spend a few minutes on that today. I'll leave a link below to the playlist for my Lightroom quick tips series, which is growing. I'm adding about a video a month or so. Related to that, if you have any topic suggestions in Lightroom for topics you'd like covered in this series, please let me know in the comments below. Before I get into showing you how this works in Lightroom, I just wanted to spend a couple minutes explaining why white balance is pretty important. And if you want to jump ahead to the Lightroom part, again, down below will be time codes to go do that. So let's hop over to Keynote to do a little presentation about the importance of white balance. One of the reasons color is so important in photography is because we have an emotional connection and reaction to color in photos. So different colors will create different reactions, and we can use color to help nudge the viewer into the reaction we're hoping for. So firstly, let's talk about the warm colors. And generally our reaction to those colors are we think about happy things, we feel about energy. Sometimes the photo can feel louder. So warm colors have a certain kind of reaction to them. Similarly, cool colors have a kind of the opposite reaction. They tend to feel maybe sad, where the warm are happy. They feel maybe mysterious or quiet. In fact, if you think about sad and cool colors, I mean, there's a whole genre of music called the blues, so that connects to that color as well. And then lastly, what white balance is all about is whatever the light source is in your photo, that's going to have color to it. And it's adjusting the photo to that color of light that's in the photo. So let's take a look a little bit more about what I mean with that. So here's a color temperature chart. And the scale for this color temperature chart is Kelvin scale, Kelvin. So that's the temperature that these colors connect to. On the left-hand side are the warm colors, the reds through oranges through yellows, and then we move into the blues at the higher temperatures. So if you've ever paid attention to the color white balance colors in Lightroom, you'll notice it's the opposite of this. So in Lightroom, it's blue on the left and warm on the right. So cool on the left, warm on the right. And the reason for that is Lightroom is working correctively. So if you want to correct a photo that's too red, too warm, you would add cool to it. And opposite, if it's too cool, you would add warm to it. So that's how this works in Lightroom. And that's how this works in the real world. And color is really, really important. So let's hop over to Lightroom now and talk about how to use Lightroom to adjust our white balance and why we might want to do that. So I'm going to start briefly here in Lightroom CC, Lightroom Desktop. The controls work the same in both programs, but they're in different locations. So over here in Lightroom CC, the desktop version, the controls are in the Color tab. So you have temperature, tint, vibrance, and saturation are separate. We'll come back to those in a future video. But right now, temperature and tint are what we're talking about around white balance controls. In Lightroom Classic, it's a tiny bit different, and we'll hop over there and show you that next. So before I get into working with white balance in this photo, I want to pause briefly and just talk a minute about you got three options when you decide to use white balance. First, you can use it correctively. So you can use it to fix the white balance in the photo that wasn't recorded accurately by the camera. Secondly, you can use white balance creatively. So if you want to warm up a photo that was correctly captured in white balance, but you want to make it warmer or cooler, either direction for the mood of the photo, you can do that. And the third is where you kind of combine both. So you do a little bit of correction, you do a little bit of creative, and then you get the photo you want. So let's hop back into Lightroom. Let's talk about how we do that. Here we go. So here in Lightroom Classic, working on a JPEG file, I want to clarify that Lightroom behaves differently in white balance when you have a JPEG file than when you have a RAW file. So for example, here on this JPEG file, you'll notice the temperature and tint Over here on the right-hand side, they say 0. So you're in the middle to start, and the value is at 0. If I go to a raw file, you'll notice these values are different, especially on the temperature side. So the white balance temperature here is corresponding to the Kelvin scale that I showed you in the color chart earlier. So this is 3,900 Kelvin. That's the white balance, the color temperature here. The tint is the same in that it's an absolute value from 0 to plus 100 or 0 to minus 100. So let's just here for a minute really quickly show you how this works and what options you have with a JPEG. So with a JPEG file over here in the drop-down menu, you have as shot, auto, and custom. And custom would be you move the temperature and tint to your preferences. And auto would be the Lightroom's trying to do it for you. So personally, I don't like the way this looks on this photo, even though this may be technically correct. Welcome to the land of being creative and deciding what you want to do with your photo more so than maybe what the computer or software wants to do. So I'm going to reset this back to 0. Again, the quick way to reset any slider in Lightroom back to 0 is to either double click on the control handle itself, or you can double click on the name of the control, and that will reset it to 0. One way you can do some auto selection is to use the eyedropper tool, and this works both in CC and Classic. So the way the eyedropper tools to set white balance works is it gives you a zoomed in view of the pixel area underneath the tip of the eyedropper. And what you're looking for here is some neutral-ish colors. So if you look in the loop view of this, we have the red value, the green value, and the blue value. Where I'm at right now, it's at 80 for the red, 80.2 for the green, and 84.4 for the blue. So that's a pretty neutral. If they're within a few percentage points of each other, I think that works as a good point for sampling to say this should be white. So if I click there, that's pretty much close to what the auto did. So I don't really like it for this photo. It's a little washed out. So what I'm going to do is reset this to as shot, and then I can work from here if I want. So I could go a little warmer if I wanted, and I could go maybe a little more green to bring out the greens. So maybe something like that. Again, this is not necessarily, again, technically correct, but it's the direction I want to move the photo visually and hopefully then emotionally for the viewer. Let's look over at a raw file to see how it's a little different in here. So firstly, when we come over to the white balance, the pull down menu where it says as shot, so that means this is what the camera recorded as a white balance value. If I click on that, I now have different options. So now in addition to having auto and custom, I have these preset values for Kelvin scale temperatures. So here's daylight, here's cloudy. So these different offsets for what would be a color in the original photo. So again, you have to walk through these real quick, and maybe one of these works really well for what you're trying to do. So for example, this flash, what it's done is it's moved it to 5,500 on the temperature scale, and it's very, very yellow because flash has a lot of blue in it. So you're offsetting that correctively. So what I want to do in this photo is go back to as shot, the way the camera recorded the white balance data. And from here, I want to make some decisions, not correctively, but creatively. So this photo I used in the cropping video where I showed how to use the crop tool. So we've started with this photo already. We'll continue working on it. So what this church feels like to me is it felt very warm, very inviting, very cozy. So right now the light's a little too blue. So I want to go to a little more warm. So I'm going to take the temperature and we'll go to the warm. It's really easy with white balance to do too much, as that is way too much. It becomes a little bit of a special effect, looks like a filter. So I generally try to avoid that, not always, but generally. And so I'll go a little warmer there. The tint was recorded at plus 24, so it's a little towards the magenta and pink. I'm gonna just play with that a little bit to see if I wanna go any farther in that direction, or I know I don't wanna go into the green because that feels cool and a little mysterious, not kind of the look I'm looking for in this photo. So it started at 24. I might go just a little more to the pink, maybe about plus 30. Again, this is how it looks on your screen, how it looks in the story you want to tell in the photo. There's, in my opinion, not really right or wrong in this when you're doing things creatively. So that's a quick look at how you do this in this photo. Let's go back to one other photo where we'll go and embrace the cool gray, blue of the day, which looks a little flat here. So what I want to do first with the white balance, I'm going to take the temperature and we'll go towards the blue side of things, and that starts to feel a lot cooler like this foggy morning was on Lake Washington. And also I will do a little bit with the tint, drop that a little bit to the greens and get a little more of a kind of a teal color here, turquoise rather than just straight blue. Again, this is looking at how it looks on your screen and deciding how you want the photo to feel for the viewer. Again, if I want to, I can use the eyedropper and find a neutral spot in the photo. This is pretty close to neutral. I'll just click here and see what that wants to do. And again, this is technically correct, and it's probably closer to what it looked like on this day. It was just a gray, foggy day, but that's not how I want the photo to feel. I want the photo to feel cooler, a little more dramatic, less gray and washed out. So I'm going to do these controls in this area, this neighborhood of color choices in white balance to get me started in this photo. So that's my creative choice for editing these photos. I usually go a little bit more on the creative side with my white balance edits than just technically correct. And I also do the same thing with exposure. I hardly ever do the technically correct exposure. I'm always, or generally I should say, doing creative exposure and creative color in my photos. So I hope you found this video helpful. As always, welcome your questions, comments, suggestions, and thoughts about this video in the comments below. I hope you learn how to use white balance creatively and correctively in your photos. One of the cool things about Lightroom, I think most people don't realize, is there are more or at least as many controls for changing color, affecting color, as there are for affecting exposure. So it's a really important part of our photos. I think we all know that, but it's sometimes easy to overlook the simple change and powerful change that white balance can make in your photos. So thanks again so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Until we meet again there, I hope you stay safe, stay well, and have fun creating photos. Bye for now.